Yo, what's up guys? Got pokeaim here with some Sun and Moon news, some competitive information like I've been trying to do. Gengar has been nerfed in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Gengar no longer has Levitate as an ability. Now Curse Body is the ability that it was replaced with, and this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Gengar was a Pokemon that with Levitate, it canceled out its weakness to ground. It allowed it to come in on Earthquakes repeatedly unless they were like Mold Breaker variants. And this is ridiculous for Gengar because now Gengar is not only able to be hit by Earthquake from any Pokemon, such as Landorus, not just Excadrill or Mold Breaker, but such as Landorus or even Sandrush Excadrill, as well as being hit by Spikes, though at the same time it can absorb Toxic Spikes, though. I mean, I don't think that's much of a boost in that, but this is actually terrible for Gengar. Curse Body is usually an ability that is better suited for, I would say, there's a few other ghost types that have Curse Body. Two that come to mind are Frostlass and Jellicent. On a Pokemon like Frostlass, very offensive, very frail, usually just gets up Spike and dies. Curse Body doesn't really do anything unless someone's using a priority move versus you and you get Curse Body off on that, and then it lets you get up another Spike or a Destiny Bond. However, for the sense of Gengar, the usual way it's taken down is either by a Choice Scarf user like Tyranitar or Sucker Punch from Bisharp, or a strong priority boosted attack. So, Curse Body I don't think does anything in particular for Gengar. The only thing I can think about, at least in VGC, is that if someone Scrappy fakes you out, maybe that'll be blocked, but even then you can't use Fake Out more than once in a turn and the immediate turn that you come out. So, I really don't think Curse Body is that useful for Gengar. Maybe spread moves and you can make it go like bulkier, I don't know, but then again, I could see something like that, like maybe like a Will-O-Wisping Landorus, then it's a spread move Earthquake, and it's weaker on Gengar, and then Earthquake is gone. But this is terrible for Gengar in my opinion, just in my opinion, because now it can no longer switch it on Landorus. Earthquake, particular Earthquakes from like Scarf Landoruses. It can no longer pretty much just be a pivot for ground type attacks. Even Hippowdon, a Pokemon that main way of dealing with Gengar was either Sandstorm damage, Stealth Rock damage, or even the Stone Edge if it did have that. Can now Earthquake Gengar. Obviously, offensively, it doesn't stop Gengar from being the monster with with Poison, Ghost, and Fighting coverage. But it definitely limits Gengar's options now. I think it'll still be a great Pokemon offensively. Maybe this will be the one generation where Gengar isn't OU. But at the same time, yeah, it just has an added weakness that it already had if Excadrill, had Mold Breaker and Earthquake anyway. But I don't know, man. Losing Levitate on Gengar is huge, and I'll link the tweet down below. This is obviously one of the dudes who, Mike, who's been doing a lot of hacking into the game, obviously a lot of data mining. And apparently if you transfer your Gengar through Pokebank, Levitate will change the Curse Body because Levitate no longer exists as an ability for Gengar at all. So that is completely game changing. Obviously, I want to know your thoughts down below. I think both in singles and in VGC or doubles, this will definitely have an effect because I know a lot of times I'd switch out my Mon and have Gengar on the side. That way Landorus doesn't have to go for Earthquake. Like Landorus has to force itself into Rock Slide, and now Landorus is able to go for Earthquake. Not that Landorus is allowed in this year of VGC, but just something like that comes to mind. It's crazy how one Pokemon that's had this ability for generations, since Generation 3, and it's just straight up gone. I think that's crazy anyway. But it was Generation 3, not Generation 2, right? I'm pretty sure pretty sure it was Generation 3. Excuse me. But it's completely crazy that Gengar has lost his ability. Obviously, I want to know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this? How this will affect Gengar? I still do think that it'll be OU. Like, obviously talking from a singles aspect, I definitely think that it'll still be OU, but just because of its offensive, like this Mon you don't switch into it well, but it definitely loses its, I want to say that it definitely loses its, I don't know, one of those things that definitely make Gengar even better than what it already is, and that's definitely losing Levitate. I'll give the example of Ubers where I bring in my Gengar on Primal Grotto and Precipice Blades, and before I Mega Evolve into Mega Gengar and potentially Destiny Bond or something like that, basically I could bring it in on a predicted Precipice Blades or Earthquake, or I could bring it in on potential Arceus Ground's Judgment, and now I can't do that anymore. So this is definitely a nerf for Gengar. I want to know your thoughts. You can leave them down below. I will be linking the this guy's Twitter as well, because obviously this is where I found it, And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I have a bunch of videos I want to put up about nerfs and buffs, and I obviously want to know your thoughts on this stuff because it definitely affects the competitive side of Pokemon. So what are your thoughts? Leave them down below. Feel free to subscribe for more Sun and Moon. Got definitely a playthrough coming, a lot of competitive stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.